Greetings and salutations. We're talking about more episodes. We're talking about things that, if you knew about Nickelodeon, then you would know in the 90s it was at its prime time. Because we had many shows that were rather, the top 5 and all the greatest that you would have remembered from the 90s. But let's talk about some that are really great. But here's the thing. I wanted to have one cartoon on the list, but then I realized I thought it was one that I liked, but at the same time, looking back at it, the creator's just not a great person. Referring to I'm referring to Ren Stimpy. Let's talk about the number 1, which is five, which is Kablam! From 1996 to 2000, the series was created by Robert Mintahal, Will McRobb, and Chris Viscardi. So basically what this show was, it had animated sequences, they would have its own series. Where it was shows like Life of Loopy.
Back at the house, Dad had seen enough.
Dinner time! Larry, get your sister back in the house.
Hey, Loopy! Get your behind down on the ground!
Which was about a brother and her imaginative sister. And my co-host, or the creator of some of these series, Prometheus and Bob, which was about an alien and his caveman friend. And him trying to say, hey, do this thing. But there's other parts of this episode that are always great. Say there was Action League Now, which is basically having action figures and going bang, bang, bang. Like how we gave a kid and you did all that because it was fun. But let's go ahead and move on to number 4. In this case, Angry Beavers. And the series included Nick Backgay in the series as Dagger's older brother. Dagger Doofus Dag Beaver, voiced by Richard Steven Horowitz. It ran from April 19th, 1997, and ended on November 11th, 2003.
Oh, Jim!
Look out, Dag! The dreaded spleen is in your ear!
Basically, the premise of this was 2 beaver brothers that would sometimes have arguments, go on adventures, and just have fun together. Whether it was moments say there was one episode when they dealt with zombies. That one was really a Halloween episode. I think it was very creepy. I think I can't remember honestly, but I remember that part of it. There was another episode of it, but looking back at it, I remember Angry Beavers.
Hello, I'm from Sweden, and you won't believe this, but I was just fishing and hello!
A lot. It was just an exciting little kind of show, honestly. I always remember, Dag always, say, where's Teddy? Because he had the teddy bear that he had. Let's go ahead and look at number 3. In this case, Cat Dog. A cat and dog who are gun-shined, who always have crazy adventures together. The series ran from April 4th, 1998 to June 15th, 2005. Cat Dog was voiced by Jim Cummings and Tom Kenny, respectively. I could say, like, one of the moments of this show, the episodes that I remember specifically was Fetch, like, because it played in theaters, and basically what happened was, Dog would go after a tennis ball and all that. There were other episodes, like, say, the Greasers were always trying to beat them up.
You know I like little baby ducks. Quack.
Or, like, Winslow, the mouse. I think at one point he, was trying to, like, pull pranks on them. There was one episode, like, say, where they are having the interest in the same girl named Lorraine, I believe. And basically she ends up falling for a toucan because, you know, like, who do I pick? Who do I pick?
Zip it, rat boy. There is nothing weird about a naked cat dog. No matter what the kids in gym class said.
All that. And, yeah, it was basically in this series, they basically end up meeting their parents, who basically were I think she was like a mountain creature, and their dad was a frog. They were adopted. But I mean, I still like Cat Dog. It has its great moments. One of the shows that everyone remembers is Rugrats. It ran from August 11th, 1991 to August 1st, 2004. A show about babies and adventures they go on.
Is she gonna be okay, Doctor? I hope that shot didn't hurt her. Now, don't worry, Mr. Pickles. She'll be completely fine. It's just that some kids can take them, and some kids can't.
While their parents are left with grandpa or others. And, you know, like, say, whether it is, like, say, one episode where, Angelica, I believe, actually, wait, one episode was involving Chucky, if he wasn't born, and everyone is miserable, I guess. There was also an episode where Angelica has a nightmare where she's gonna have a baby brother, and he's basically just very, like, you know, creepy and all that, and it's, like, kind of sequences of it are very creepy. I actually had, like, one of the Rugrats games when I was growing up for PlayStation. It was a search for Reptar, and if you didn't know, Reptar is basically a parody of Godzilla.
Halt! I am Reptar! Halt! I am Reptar! Halt! I am Reptar! Halt! I am Reptar!
Gorg, what eat?
And, yeah, I mean, honestly, there are some great moments of Rugrats. It's a show that would go forward for many years, and it would eventually get a spin-off called All Grown Up when they're teenagers. Tommy would get an older brother named, I think it was Dill, I think, and, I can't remember, like, I haven't watched Rugrats in many years. It got another reboot, which was in CGI, which was more in the modern day setting. Yeah, I mean, I remember Rugrats a lot. Let's look at my number one, in this case, Rocko's Modern Life. It ran from September 18th, 1993, November 24th, 1996. And honestly, this show was created by Joe Murray. It had the voice of Carlos Alexandri, Tom Kenny, Mr. Lawrence, and Charlie Adler. And when Joe Murray was also the voice of Mr. Big Head's son, Ralph, who did the show The Fatheads.
Edward Elias, Fathead, what did you do? What is in your mouth? Did you eat another solicitor?
Edward Elias, Fathead, what did you do? What is in your mouth? Edward Elias, Fathead, what did you do? What is in your mouth? Edward Elias, Fathead, what did you do? What is in your mouth? Edward Elias, Fathead, what did you do? What is in your mouth? Edward Elias, Fathead, what did you do? What is in your mouth? Edward Elias, Fathead, what did you do? What is in your mouth? Edward Elias, Fathead, what did you do? What is in your mouth? Edward Elias, Fathead, what did you do? What is in your mouth? Edward Elias, Fathead, what did you do? What is in your mouth? Edward Elias, Fathead, what did you do? What is in your mouth? Edward Elias, Fathead, what did you do? What is in your mouth? Edward Elias, Fathead, what did you do? What is in your mouth? Edward Elias, Fa Well, I'll see about that. There you are. Are you okay, dear?
And I gotta say, I still go back to watch Rocko's Modern Life. It is a show that is basically a modern version of, like a 90s version of Looney Tunes. In the fact that, you know, it tries to be more goofy, it tries to be more zany, and the characters are, at times, can be more mean-spirited. It tries to be a slice-of-life show.
That's my ride.
Ah! Virginia!
We were afraid to tell you.
See? I told you you'd have a cow. No offense, heifer.
He's a steer!
It is just madcap. There are a lot of great moments that I can remember of this show, whether it is I'm a wild pig, or
As far as I'm concerned, you're all wild pigs! I'm a wild pig! Silence!
something like that. I also gotta say they had a great, you know, like, sequel film, which was Static Cling. There are a ton of great moments that I can recommend, whether it is like the time they're at a movie theater and they can't figure out where their seats are, so eventually the theater ends up getting destroyed, and eventually they decide to go, ooh, it looks like a drive-in, and all that. Or one time where, Filbert is basically just becomes Mr. Lucky, or the moment where they have the, they try to help Ralph make a cartoon, and it's the deli store or something like that. The salami, the bologna, and the cheese. But those are all my top 5 shows from the 90s for Nickelodeon. What are your thoughts?